the fire.
Hey, we're on. And we are going. Hey, this is Beau from BEAU'D Not Broken. How about for starting right away? We're live. We're up here in Brigham City with Jerry today, and we're going to be talking with him about some of the things that he's gone through. And that light is right in our face. Let me move this way. That one over there is right in my face. No, we can't wait a minute. Thanks for watching. We traveled a little far up here to Brigham City again, up to Sharon's house, and we appreciate her allowing us. That's perfect. Thank you, sir. It's live TV, so we like people walking through. It's all good. And we're here today to find another story or series of stories from a regular person. But I don't think this guy is a real regular person. He's a veteran, a military veteran, and I'm honored and privileged to be up here talking to him today. I wanted to have multiple veterans on, and servicemen and women that are currently, active duty as well. But today is no different. But it's just a new one for us because our show's really new. This is BEAU'D Not Broken, the Daily Bend, where we talk about faith and courage and endurance in all things, adversity, successes, and things like that. Gives people an opportunity to tell their stories and tell us about how they got through those times in their life, and it might help someone out there that needs some help or might need a little bit of advice or something that might be one word or one phrase that somebody says might be able to change their life. Want to thank Rob Eastman and his wife for yesterday. That was a great show, and appreciate him being on. Anyway, Jerry, thanks for being with me today. And the camera's just like that. You don't have to worry about looking right into it. You can just kind of do what you want to do here, and it kind of moves around a lot. And every little while, I'll kind of chime in and talk about why we're here, because there's people coming on all the time. Jerry, tell us a little bit about yourself, and then the last few years for you.
Okay, I'm Jerry Bench, as you've said, and I'm a retired vet. I served in Iraq in 2004 to 2005. So when I come home from Iraq, I've been just in the recovery and trying to get my life balanced.
What kind of injuries did you sustain when you were over there and fighting and all that kind of stuff?
I sustained several traumatic brain injury and also a spinal injury.
And that was from what kind of a weapon, or was it a ambush type of thing?
It was from a IED.
An IED, okay.
A roadside bomb.
Roadside bomb. And you were, what kind of a unit were you involved in over there?
I was in a unit where we did convoy escorts. We escorted convoys from Kuwait into Iraq to wherever they were going.
Wow.
So we cleared the route as we came to them, and then we would take them back with us to their destination.
How long were you in the military altogether? How long was that time?
I was in 20 years and 3 months.
Career man. Wow. What an amazing time. That's so.
It was good.
So were you involved in the first Gulf War, the first Gulf War we had?
I wasn't. I was almost deployed during that time, and then it didn't happen until it was called Operation Iraqi Freedom when I was finally deployed.
What's always interesting is, again, you're watching BEAU'D Not Broken, the Daily Bend, and we're talking with Jerry today about his life in the military and outside the military, and what made you want to go in the military to begin with?
I just had experiences where I've been around the military, and I liked it. I liked what they did. I liked what they stood for, and I always felt it was something where I could fit in.
Oh, I see.
So I joined when I was young. I joined when I was 17.
Oh, really?
So,
time to get permission from the parents and all that kind of stuff.
My mom was hesitant. My dad was willing.
Really, really, they're willing to get you out of the house.
Well, I think my dad was more than my mom. But you
Oh,
know
really?
how moms are. They
Yeah,
want you around. They
that's
want to
true.
make sure you're safe.
And then dads want that too, but they got to put up that
They
gruff
want you to
exterior.
grow up.
They want you to grow up. That's exactly right. Okay, so take us. So you've been in the military. You've been in the military for quite some time before
It
you.
was half of my life I was
Okay.
in the military. So.
And so your accident occurred. Were you close to coming home time, or were you right in the middle of things? Was it any kind of a story like that where you may have you were 20 days away from coming home for a while?
No, it wasn't quite that close, but it was 4 months before we came home. So
And how
we
many-
was over the hump to.
Oh, okay. And how many were you on, like tours? Were you like on certain tours? How many tours did you do?
I did one tour. We every day was just a convoy to a different place.
Oh, okay.
So we never really knew the route until we got there.
Wow, just kind of putting you out there in
Yeah,
in
it
nowhere
wasn't,
land
wasn't
with-
very friendly country.
interesting.
But it was the way it was ran for years before we got there, and it was the way it was ran when we got there. So.
Okay. Tell us about some of the injuries that you sustained that day. What do you remember about that day? I mean,
Nothing.
nothing.
I don't remember anything.
What's the first thing you remember?
The first thing I remember was eating dinner. I told my buddies, hey, things are coming back. I'm doing good. I'm going to survive. I'm going to stay. But that was 7 days later.
Was that in a hospital bed? You're in a hospital bed,
I
or were
wasn't
you?
in a hospital bed,
Oh.
but I was under medical care.
Oh, okay.
So I wasn't going on missions. I wasn't leading missions.
Right.
My
So
guys
one day you
weren't-
just kind of comprehended, oh wow, here I am, bingo.
Yeah, I thought things were all normal just from
Wow.
a few hours earlier.
Really?
That was the week. It was 7 days and
That's
a few
amazing.
hours later.
That's amazing. That had to be quite a shock.
I didn't really learn that until I came home.
Uh-huh.
No one really told me anything over there.
Really?
They just told me I was fine.
They told you you were
okay,
fine.
And I wouldn't be going on missions no more. I wouldn't be leading missions no more.
Wow.
So, which I don't think I did, but I don't remember.
Right.
Then when I came home, then my buddy that I was deployed with came visit me from Alabama. And he told me everything. So that's how I know. But
Really? It took a
it's all
friend to tell you.
secondhand.
It took a friend to tell you what was going on in your own life.
Yeah,
Wow. Wow.
it was secondhand, but it was okay.
So were you married at the time? Were you
I was married when I left. Yeah.
when you left? Okay. So you came home, and you came home. Did you got out of the military, medically or whatever? Is that what happened, or did you stay in for a little while?
I came home and they kept me in until my medical issues were completed.
Resolved, yeah.
But it ended up they weren't going to be resolved, and I may have had 35 years in before the issues would have been resolved, so they retired me.
Oh, okay.
Instead medically retired me.
Okay. All right.
So I got my 20 years service.
And very well, yeah, obviously you've paid your price for a lot of things. So you came back, you're back, you're married at the time. So if that's not a big enough challenge, I mean, how'd you feel about, how did you feel about yourself when that medical retirement came, and, what kind of ran through your mind?
Well, at the time that happened, I wasn't really thinking clearly. I wasn't really understanding clearly. I was still going through the treatment for the injury to the brain.
Right.
And migraines, and so I didn't really have a clear understanding.
Was anybody helping you through that time? Was there anybody?
I came home and my wife said that I changed and she wanted divorce. So
Oh, so you came home
I
and
came home
you
to
did change.
divorce,
You did change, but I don't know what. Yeah, unfortunately, she expected you to.
be the same as I left.
That's unfortunate. So
So
was that an immediate thing that happened
um,
right after?
yeah, it was within a couple weeks after I come
Really,
home.
really.
Yeah.
So tell me about. I mean, this is BEAU'D Not Broken, the Daily Bend, and we talk about adversity and we talk about challenges and how you get through it. Was that really a low point for you? I mean, did that really rock your world?
Yeah, it did mostly because we had children, and the children were young when I left. I didn't really know them because they were so young.
Right.
I come home, and that was probably the hardest part of it. Was the kids were young. Didn't really know their dad. They only knew what their mom had shared with them, so it was tough. But I was dealing more with the medical stuff
Sure.
than
Sure.
family issues. So
So she left with the kid. Did she leave with the kids, and you were living
um,
alone, or?
no, I didn't live alone. I moved over to Brigham from Logan.
Oh, okay.
So where my parents lived in Brigham.
Okay.
So they assisted me, got me into a house, and got me a little bit more stabilized, and then the medical stuff started stabilizing more.
And that, uh, I mean, do you see your kids at all now?
I do. One actually lives with me now.
Oh, okay. Very nice. That's
yeah,
good.
yeah, he's 17 now, doing really well. Lives with me. My 18-year-old I see all the time.
Right.
So the tides have kind of turned now.
Are
so.
they? I know it's hard to admit it, but are they proud of their dad? I mean, you've gone through some hell.
I don't know if he.
I bet they are.
They
I bet they're
probably
pretty
are.
proud. Yeah, I bet they're pretty proud of you. So your medical issues kind of stabilized, and when was that? Was that, you know?
Well, maybe stabilized wasn't the exact word to use, but they stabilized from where they were to improvement a little bit. But they've yet to stabilize completely.
Still dealing with the different aftermath of
I
things.
go from brace to brace, from back surgery to back surgery, but it's better all the time, but not completely stabilized.
Was there a time? Let's kind of go back to that, a real low moment. Did you have a real low moment? You know, maybe after the wife left you and all, or maybe it's been recently. I don't know. Has there been a real low moment for you, and what keeps you going? What keeps you moving? Getting up and trying to,
like the low moments almost every day. It's a tough thing to get up to. I have a disease now in my spine that's pain related. So it's painful all the time. It never goes away. It only goes from worse to worse, not from worse to better. So
right.
I say the low time is just fighting through the pain every day to find something, a good reason to get up.
What is that good reason most of the time? You want to share that?
Well, I've got a good wife now.
You got a good wife now, a good woman.
A good woman.
All right.
She's definitely cares about me, wants me to live every day to the fullest. My boys, of course, are support to me now. And my faith is important to me. I'm close to the people that we go to church with, not just in church, but on a daily basis.
So you have friendships that are built on some of that faith and that ability, you know, your friends and things like that.
Yeah, I have good friends, you know. I know there's a lot of joke about Sharon, but Sharon and Wes are my good friends.
Yeah, they are. Well, Sharon, they both are amazing stories. We were up here last week with Sharon, and it's been neat. Again, you're watching BEAU'D Not Broken, the Daily Bend, and we're talking to Jerry about some of his trials and tribulations and some of the things. We just got done talking about what keeps him going, and he talked about his new wife, or how long he'd been married, newly married, I guess.
I hope I get this right.
Oh, if you don't, there's a button. There's an eject button. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, keep in mind I've had brain injury before,
sure.
so memory is one of my difficulties. But she'll understand. If
Sure
she
she
ever
will.
sees this, she'll say, that's not the right answer, but I think it's been about 6 years.
Nice.
So
Nice. Good. What's your day consist of now? What are you doing for a living or trying to do, and how's your day go?
It goes, well, I'm supported now by the military because of the injury occurring there.
Did you have a time period where it didn't take care of what was going on?
Yeah, it was about 2.5 years.
Oh, really?
During the divorce. Unfortunately.
Wow. We hear of, a lot of us outside the military hear of the struggles that current veterans have trying to get help, trying to get, medical attention and the things that they need. So it's a real thing then.
Yeah, it's real. I was trying to go through the divorce, trying to pay a lawyer, trying to, at the same time, they deemed me not employable, so I couldn't go out and get a job. Then I wasn't getting any compensation from the military.
Oh, so you can't go out and get a job, but then you're not getting any.
Right.
You're not getting any compensation.
About 2
so
years that I went with nothing but what I could scrape up. So
wow.
It was not a very good situation. But
so what are you doing now? What do you do? Are you working now?
No, I'm unemployed still because of my medical condition. So,
right.
But they give me some compensation.
Good. Is there anybody? I mean, have there been anybody that stepped up? Businesses that have stepped up that would say, we'd like to employ you, for a few hours a day or whatever. If there isn't, there needs to be somebody. Where's the camera right there?
Yeah, my conditions don't really allow me to work very well because of the pain issue and because of the medication that I have to be on.
Right.
So the medication makes it hard for me to concentrate or think through what I need to on a daily basis of work.
Well, when I think of somebody BEAU'D Not Broken, this guy sitting next to me right here is definitely an amazing man. I had no idea. You don't have any idea if you don't have people that are involved with the military or have been involved in some kind of, confrontation somewhere else. The impact. I won't say, would you do it again? But how do you feel about your experiences in your life? I mean, is this country, I guess the question is this country and our freedoms so important that you would do it again?
I guess the best way to answer that is, I probably wouldn't do it again, but I don't regret doing it that I've done it.
Right.
I don't regret that part. I don't hold grudges.
Right.
I could hold a grudge. It's hard to wake up every day and just not feel like getting up. But,
right.
And sometimes I think I probably hold a grudge.
I
don't know who against.
I think it would be hard not to. When we talk about endurance, I talk about endurance with being BEAU'D Not Broken, but endurance is so much patience that, and we have this beautiful music in the background, but and that kind of lightens the mood up, which is fine. The whole thing about, you are enduring things that people will never even get close to. it's so admirable and so amazing. Have you been recognized for your service to the country? I mean, has anybody recognized you, or you know? I mean, or is it just, do we just leave you? We give you a medical retirement. I mean, in general, we give people medical retirements, and then we just kind of, they're okay. There they are, and
That's kind of the way it is.
that's
I
too bad.
think, and it depends. If you're on the East Coast, it might be different, more easily
Really?
to be recognized. But
Why is that? Is that
you closer you get to Washington, and more politicians and people want.
they want to take the picture with you?
Yeah, they want to make something of it for their sake sometimes.
Right.
I have had assistance through politicians and through senators, but
Right.
that was after waiting 2 years. I
Right.
couldn't wait no more. I had to have something happen.
Sure. Sure.
He wrote a book about his experiences.
Really?
Yes, he's a published author.
You wrote a book. What's it called?
It's called In the Mind of a Soldier.
In the Mind of a Soldier. Where can people find that book if they want it? Have you published it and all that stuff?
I have copies that I
do ya?
give people so that they can be signed copies.
Well, of course. Heck yeah, I want one. I'll even drive back up and get one.
I have one. I brought one today just in case.
Are you on Facebook or any social media stuff?
No, my wife does.
Your
but
wife
I
is?
don't do any.
And her
social
first name is?
Tammy.
Tammy. So Tammy Bench,
Yeah.
right? Tammy Bench is on Facebook, and I'm not trying to throw a bunch of people at you, but if they
it'd
want to
be
get a
good.
hold of you, and correspond with you, that would be nice to do.
I wrote the book with the writing in mind that someone really needs to know the truth of what happens when you're on a deployment. Not what the media allows you or what the news expresses to you. Someone really needs to know not just the physical part, but what goes through a guy's mind.
Yeah, that mental thing.
He was blown up 3 times.
Three separate occasions?
Yeah.
3 separate occasions.
Uh-huh.
And they still kept him there.
Wow. So, okay, because that's something that didn't come out. So it wasn't just one situation where you had injury. You had 3 situations in the theater, in combat,
Right.
basically.
Yeah.
And you, after the first one, they kept you around. And after the second one, they kept you around.
On the third one, then I was pulled from the leadership aspect, but I stayed because I could have come home early,
Right,
but I didn't want to come home alone.
right.
I want to make sure I was in charge of 9 guys over there, and they were my convoy guys. So I want to make sure when I came home, they came home.
Right.
All 9 came home with me. So.
Wow. So there's a little bit of a leadership, and courage type of thing to not want to leave your fellow soldiers over there, and have you come home. You probably felt guilty if you'd come home and they were still there. Right?
I didn't really know what was going on at that time, but I knew at some point in my life I would have regretted coming home without us.
So were you, the best that you can remember, during those, like between the first and the second, and maybe even between the second and the third, were you competent? I mean, were you intellectually, did you understand what was going on, or were you there and hurt and injured and still going into battle again and again?
From the first to the second, I had almost full recovery.
Okay.
From the second to the third, I had pretty good recovery.
Okay.
Where I could still run the missions, I could
Right.
still be in charge. The third one, I didn't have any capability of doing that after that.
Interesting. Have we?
Till they,
We could be with Jerry for 3 days. What an amazing man you are. Not to just, I mean, I'm gushing. I just can't believe. I have friends in the military. We all have family or friends in the military, but to spend time with you and to talk about the real issues of what somebody goes through, I think has been valuable for me. In fact, maybe in a couple months we'll have you back and talk about some more stories and some other things, and maybe even have that book available. We'll tell everybody about the book, because I think people really need to know what it's like. I mean, I was a police officer for almost 20 years, but I was not in the type of element that you were in. And most people don't realize what it's like to be a police officer, but
Right.
I can't imagine being in a foreign country with people that don't like you, that want to kill you and really don't care, and for you to be involved in 3 incidents like that, and to still be here, number one, number two, to come back and unfortunately face the hardships of life, nobody really advocating for you. That's something we ought to really be kind of ashamed as a country. I love this country just like everybody else, but we ought to be ashamed in a way how we treat our veterans.
tell them about your first deployment, and you rode on that plane, and you were coming over into Iraq, and how scary it was, what they did. They turned the lights off. Remember that?
Well, like when you deploy, you just get very general instructions to
Right.
pack this and show up somewhere. So you really don't have an expectation of what's going to happen in the next 24 hours.
Right.
You just hope that, well, honestly, you hope the plane don't get off the ground.
You hope something mechanically is wrong.
A storm comes in
Oh,
or
okay, I get it.
something
Yeah.
to keep you home.
Sure.
It's a matter of time, and you're going to be going anyway. So,
Right.
and your 1 year don't start until you get there. So, even if it takes longer to start out, it don't start till you're there.
So if it takes you a couple extra weeks, you don't get those couple extra weeks.
No, it's just more anticipation on what's going to come.
Right.
And that's sometimes in normal life. That's normal life meaning when you're not going to a foreign country, when you're not going where people don't like you, where they prefer you dead.
Right.
The anticipation on anything is gonna drive a person crazy. So
Right.
when we flew out finally, of course we just left our families, our kids, with the expectation of probably not seeing them again,
Right.
not making it back.
Right.
As you get going and as you get traveling, then you start building in your mind that I'm going to come back. I'm going to come back no matter what. That's the mindset, because you have nothing else. Once you touch ground there, you have nothing else to have any ground on.
Right.
Only to take off again and come home.
Only the belief and only the faith that I'm coming back no matter what's going to happen.
That's exactly right.
Courage up, put the big boy pants on. That's the ultimate in big boy pants right there.
It is pretty big.
Yeah.
But when we landed there, it was a time that I don't remember a lot of things now, but I'll never forget that part. But it was complete darkness. There was nothing on the ground that you could see except fires. Plane landed. We got off the back of the plane right on the runway. And within minutes, the plane was gone. There we stood. So that's when you get the mindset. That's when you start to build faith. That's when your courage goes from 0 to 100, because not gonna get killed
That
in a
plane?
country like this.
And that plane just left. That was
And
your
the
safety blanket,
plane
your last
just
one.
took off, yeah.
Wow. Wow.
So then you only have 12 months till the next plane comes. So, yeah,
Wow.
it was a lot. That's when you really look inside yourself and say, I gotta do some things I've never done, I've never considered, I never thought I'd consider doing, but here I am, I'm gonna do it now.
Right. What do you tell people that talk to you about being in the military? What do you say to them?
Like, do I tell them not to?
Not to, not
or
to.
tell
Yeah.
them to? Or
Right.
no? I tell them to do it. You know, once you take a initial step into being in the military, I think if you're willing to take that, you're able to make it.
Uh-huh. Well, you're an inspiration. I wish we had like 2 more hours, but you're an inspiration to me. I think there's heroes in the world, but and I'm not the cliche about heroes, but you are definitely someone that you know, I'm 53 years old, and I think I'm old enough to realize what a real hero is. It's not the folks on TV or in the movies or things like that, but it's people that have, you know, paid the price to help us be free and all. And so those holidays mean a whole heck of a lot more to me than you know, some of these other folks that don't really understand. Is there anything, any party last words you want to? Well, actually, not last words, because we're going to have you on again. But any advice? Any, you know, you're the ultimate. You're the ultimate BEAU'D Not Broken, and you epitomize everything that and then some. You know, you talked about, you know, what makes you keep going on, but what do you tell people out there that might motivate them to get up in the morning and to, you know, try and do what they can do to make themselves better, their family, or their
Well,
life?
a couple things. Keep a good support group around you. You know, you gotta work as hard as your support group does. You have to influence them and give to them as much as they give to you. That's the first thing. Second thing is, you gotta just know that there's something that you're getting up for, or you won't be here to get up for it. So there gotta be reason. Third, read my book. It's worth reading.
I bet. We'll get that available. I'll get that available. We'll get the book available for our watchers or anybody. I'll help you. We'll put it on my website. We'll help you sell it. We'll help you get it out there.
You know, there's another thing that he has done. He's got himself involved in organizations, and he went on a bear hunt.
A bear hunt, huh?
Yes.
I did.
Did you take a switch? Huh? You're probably tough enough
That
to take a
was
switch.
amazing, that bear hunt.
Well, that's awesome.
And there's other organizations that want him to come back.
Good. I hope they do. I hope they'll. I'll have this. I'm going to tell the viewers. This is downloaded onto YouTube and onto my website, but we'll make sure you have a copy of it as well.
Okay.
And I want you. We're gonna throw you out there as much as we can. This was I hope people out there are enjoying these shows, because I tell you what, everyone they just keep getting better and better. And you've been a highlight of my. You're the reason why we do things like this, so you can show people, you know, what real, you know, what a real person can do in the world. And you may not be a bazillionaire, a millionaire, but definitely, you know, your experiences can help other people live their lives. So. You know, I really think so.
He's helped me. I mean, really.
Well, he's helped me. I'm going to watch this thing a few times. We're really kind of out of time. Jerry, thanks for having us. Sharon, you guys, thanks for having me up here again. This has been the Daily Bend on BEAU'D Not Broken. Appreciate everybody watching. Make sure that if you feel amazed or you feel like the show is great, make sure you pass it on to your other folks. Have them be friends here on Periscope, or on Facebook, or go to the website. We have these different shows Monday through Friday, so we'll be here tomorrow with one more show. And just want to thank everybody for being a part of it, and your questions and comments, if you have it, or show ideas, please let me know. We want to make sure that we bring to you regular people in life situations where they can teach us a few lessons about life and how to get through life together. You talked about a support group. This is the ultimate in support groups, and so I hope you use these different shows to help yourself or to help one another. With that, thanks again for having me. Thanks for being here. And remember, out there, it's all about the bend.